I'm Phil Hargis. It is good to see you guys again. You know, spring races have kind of come and gone here. We're kind of easing into the warmer weather, which is nice. We'll have some training tips on that later on in the program. But, you know, there's a lot of good stuff to do this summer. There's a lot of good races coming up. And in a couple weeks here, we're going to have a special series of races. They're the North Face Endurance races. So we brought in one of our local representatives from the North Face who may look familiar to you. We'll get to him in a second here, and we'll welcome on to the show. But we will talk a little bit about the North Face Endurance races and what is being offered out there. It's a really neat experience, like sort of take a break from the road racing here in Washington, D.C., and like go a little bit further out west, out to Great Falls, and run on some of the nice trail running that they have out there. We'll get to that in a second, but let's go ahead and introduce Chris Farley again.
How you doing?
Chris, welcome back to the studio. It's great to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you, man. Have you done a North Face race before?
I haven't done one. I'm looking forward to doing one in the very near future.
Yeah, neither have I. Well, I know they really have taken on and have caught a lot of momentum, and we hear a lot about them in the store, so I'm excited to talk about them today.
Yeah, trail running is a pretty new thing to me. I actually got my first trail running experience just the other day, actually running on the Mount Vernon Trail. I dipped into Roosevelt Island and did the mile-and-a-half lap around Roosevelt Island, so it's new to me. I got to learn how to run trails. I'm going to do the JFK 50 in November, though, so that's going to be something new for me and something I need to learn about pretty quickly here. But we have a couple expert trail runners here, and we have a North Face representative, Michael Wardian, back in the house. Mike, it's great to see you again.
Hey, thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
All right, man. How you been, man? We haven't seen. Last time we saw you, you were getting ready to go down to the Olympic trials, and you've been a busy guy ever since.
Yeah, it's been a busy year so far. I went to the Olympic trials, ran as hard as I could, and I didn't make it, but I ran like 2:21, and I think the guys were about 2:09, so I think I was like 82nd or so out of like 115 guys that started, so it was okay, something to build on, and there's always next time, and looking forward to trying to be one of the only guys to make it 4 times to the Olympic trials.
I was going to say, Mike, next time. You're already talking about next time. What are you, 38?
I'm 38, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has got more longevity than most elite runners out there, and it's amazing to see what you've done. So congratulations on
thanks, man.
On that, and finishing, making it, and I can't believe 2:21 puts you at 82nd. I'll tell you, Phil, like 96. 2:21 probably would have put you in the top 30, but it's a tribute to where the distance running has come, and that's not a bad effort. So we hope to see you there in 4 years. That'd be great.
Yeah, man. It's definitely on the agenda, and the next day I was able to run 2:31 at the Houston Marathon, and then I went on to win the Mercedes Marathon.
That was in Alabama, right?
Yep, that was in Alabama, and I'd been second there a bunch of times, so it was good to come home with a win from there. And
did you drive home in your new car?
Yeah, I wish. That'd be cool. They're such a great group of people down there, and it's just such a really classy event, so it was nice to be a part of it and finally come out on top down there. And then I was able to win the Lower Potomac Marathon, which I've done a couple times. And then
any costumes this year?
No, I thought about doing a costume, but I was watching the boys, and we went to the costume store, and it became like this big episode where everyone wanted a costume, and I never actually got one. So,
well, the boys got them though, so that's important.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, that's the important thing. So we ended up. I just didn't want to do it again in the same costumes. It wouldn't be that fun. And then I won the National Marathon the week after that, I think. And then
so it's 6 now?
No, and then I just won the Delaware Marathon. Yeah, and I think I did. So far, I think I've done 7, and I've won 4. So it's been
7 this year.
Yeah, 7 marathons, and then I went down to South Africa and did the 2 Oceans. I was the first U.S. guy, and so that was good. It's been a good year. I finished 8th in the world at the 100K World Championships, and we came home with a silver medal for Team USA. So it's been a busy year so far, and I got a bunch of stuff coming up. I got Comrades in South Africa, Western States 100-miler in June, and then a big race around Mont Blanc in August called UTMB, which is a big North Face endurance challenge. Getting back to the topic at hand, but it's a big North Face race in Europe, the biggest trail race in the world actually at the moment.
So how do you prepare for these? So you've got 7 marathons under your belt. You run them very competitively, winning 4 of them. How do you prepare for these trail races? What's the difference?
The difference is I've been getting out on trails. Like actually this morning, I was out on trails. I actually have my pole still in my car, so I actually have some old school poles that my parents just had lying around their house probably for like 30 years, these old dusty all-stop poles. And so I was out on the Potomac Heritage Trail, which is pretty technical. Headlamp, I had a Petzl headlamp on this morning, just crank that sucker on. I'd go out there at like 4:45 and meet a couple guys, and we go out there for like an hour and a half or so, just tooling around on the trails, just getting ready for the technical ascents and descents. And then the other thing I've been doing is I've been cranking my treadmill up to 15% and just getting a lot of ascent. So for like 3 or 4 hours, getting in like 10,000 feet of climbing or something, just trying to get ready for being out there on my feet that long and those long ascents and descents. The descending is really hard to do around here, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you usually do treadmill in the morning, but now you're getting out to these trails in the morning. I just don't know how you. So explain to me your day. So today you went to the trail. Is it only one run a day, or are you doing a couple?
No. I did no. It's actually I did 2 runs. I actually sent you a note to see if you wanted to come.
Flew 'em out.
But
Can't keep up, can you?
Yeah, no. So I woke up at like 4:20 this morning. Met some guys. I was actually a little bit late because I was getting my batteries in my headlamp, and then got to the trail by like 4:50, ran for about an hour and a half, got home, got some breakfast in the kids, changed into my biking gear, biked to work, worked until 11, went for a run.
How long was the second run?
About an hour. So about 9 miles or so, and then worked the rest of the day and biked home, and then
here you are. Wow,
but,
that's amazing. 2.5 hours of running and some biking.
Dinner for the kids. My wife was out. Jennifer was out, doing all this gardening and stuff. So I took care of the dinner and got the kids ready for bed, and then here I am.
Wow, I would have had her cook dinner with that being my day.
No, she usually does, man. She's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
She baked us those awesome cookies last time.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So let's go ahead and talk about this upcoming awesome series of races that it sounds like I haven't participated in, but the North Face puts on an awesome series of events here locally, but also around the country.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and it's really cool. It's a really great way to get into the trail running scene and to know you're going to get something that's really quality. And the things that are important to me when I'm doing a trail race is like a really well marked course, good aid stations, good support. Nice swag. I mean, they got like incredible swag at these things, like lots of shirts and water bottles and vendors and stuff. And then it's just like this really cool atmosphere. They put it on, the one here in DC, they put on at Algonquian Park, and they have like a big, almost festival environment going on. So it's really neat the way they do it. The Saturday is usually the longer day, so they'll have like the 50 mile, the 50K, I think a marathon.
And then the relay.
And then a marathon relay, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's pretty cool. Like the 50 mile starts the first race, I think maybe 5 or so in the morning.
Right. You got the
and then
schedule right here.
They start the
package pickup starts at 3:45 in the morning, so you gotta get up early for that one.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
right, the 50 mile starts at 5.
Right.
50K will start at 7 a.m.
Right.
The marathon starts at 9. The relay starts at 11, and then the party starts at 11 also.
Right, and it's pretty cool because as you're out on the trail in the 50 mile, like you're out there first, you're kind of blazing the trail, and it's really beautiful. Like you're running on the Potomac Heritage Trail down, you run basically from Algonquian down the Potomac Heritage. Like as the sun's coming up, you're seeing it like, it's all single track, and then you're seeing it like come up, and there's like kind of mist on the water, and it's starting to, it's really awesome.
So are you running with your headlamp in the beginning?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like you've got your headlamp. You gotta have a headlamp, and your water bottle or something like that at the beginning, and then as it starts to get lighter, you can dump your headlamp off once you get to Great Falls, which is maybe like 10, 11 miles from there.
You just ditch them in an aid station and they return them to you, or?
Yeah, you can do that. Usually, I try to have someone there just because it's pretty expensive if you're buying a nice headlamp.
Yeah.
Like, if you
those
got
Petzl headlamps are really nice. But they're expensive. We saw them at the store.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic. But you don't want to replace those every race.
Right.
So I mean, you can definitely like throw it in your drop bag or something, and then for the 50 mile, you do a couple loops. I think it's 3 loops of Great Falls, and so that's pretty sweet. And then you get to see the 50K guys, and they have it set up so almost everyone kind of finishes near each other. That's why they have the delayed start, which is kind of cool. So then everyone's coming in, and you like get this whole, you know, everyone's cheering for you in the 50 mile, and then you're cheering for the people coming in the marathon and the marathon relay. And so it's just a really cool experience. And then everyone hangs out. You know, they have like chairs to hang out in and ice bath, nice food. So it's just
I
really.
I think I saw a massage or something was in there.
Yeah, I think they do have massage usually too.
Right.
So it's running, but really you're describing this as really like a different sport than marathoning. I mean, because when you're out marathoning, you're from the gun running close to 5 minutes per mile.
Yeah.
I can't imagine on a single track with a headlamp, probably with gear, what type of pace you running, how is that like?
Oh yeah, I mean you're. A lot of times it depends on, you know, who's there. Like a lot of the years, you know, I've been able to be near the front, and you know we're moving pretty fast, but it's still not like, you know, 5 minute pace or even 5:30 pace. It's more like 6:30, 7 minute pace, and then once you add in some hills and some mud, and I think there's some stream crossings and stuff like that. Nothing like super technical. I mean. The nice thing about this course is it's a great beginner's course because it's not super technical. There's not huge ascents or descents. You know, there's some grinding hills. Nothing really bad, just, you know, there, noticeable. So you can move pretty quick, and once you get into a good rhythm and once you go around the loop once, especially on the 50 mile, you get a good feel for where you can, you know, pick it up and slow down. And then it just depends on, you know, as long as you keep eating and drinking and you know, I take Succeed tablets, salt tablets, just to make sure you stay up on your electrolytes. It turns into a really good run, and you can hold a pretty good pace. I think the winning time last year was a little under 6 hours,
Wow,
which is
for 50 miles.
For 50 miles, which is still moving.
Yeah.
Which by comparison to the JFK 50 miler, which is, what were the winning times for that? I know you were second in that last year, but you were right up there by the close to finish.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a course record too, actually. So.
Yeah, I broke the course record and lost.
Somebody else in front of you.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that time? It was like, was it 5?
I think he ran 5. David ran 5:53, or no,
Yeah,
I think I ran 5:53 and he ran 5:51 or something.
Okay, so the courses are fairly comparable in
yeah, I would say that the North Face race is a little more bumpy, but the beginning of JFK is a little more challenging just because of the technical aspect of the footing on the Appalachian Trail.
Okay, and I need a glossary check here because I'm new to this whole trail racing thing. What does exactly a single track mean? And I'm serious because I really don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's a great question.
It is a good question.
So single track is the way I define it, I guess it depends on where you're from. And, you know, like in Virginia, it gets really narrow. So it's like maybe like this much trail, and it's kind of, you know, overgrown and stuff. Like, so, and it depends where you are. I mean, it's basically, you know, almost a footfall on each side. So it's basically like this. Whereas double track would be like Chris and me wide, and then, you know, Fire Road is like all of us wide.
Right.
Okay, got it.
So. Yeah, it depends, but like some of the trails out west are just like super plush and like really nice and groomed and
that's how I was out in Leadville, and that's how those were. But so single track
exactly.
is when they're just, you know, you can barely. I don't even know how to fit on those trails, Chris, to be honest with you. I might have to bring in like a steamroller or something.
No, you'll be fine, man.
So what do you fare better at? What does Michael Wardian fare better at? The marathon or this type of technical single track North Face type races?
I think it depends. Like I think I like to do both,
right.
And you know, I've had success at both. So I think that you know, I guess it depends, you know, how I run on that day. You know, how it's going to go for me. I think that, you know, there's definitely some aspects of the trail running that I'm trying to get better at. You know, that's why I'm doing those long climbs and stuff, because I've been weak at that in the past. So that's some stuff I'm working on, and I'm really excited to see how I do in some of the trail racing coming up. And there's even this new sky running series that looks pretty interesting. There's just a big movement to do that. So I'm curious to try and explore different things. And you know, I love marathons. I mean, that's something that
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever grow out of.
So you kind of got started in marathoning
Yeah.
before you did the ultras, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I started out doing marathons, and then someone told me you couldn't do 3 marathons in a month, and I was like, oh, I probably could. And then someone said, well, like probably kind of like you, you know,
Yeah.
like JFK was around, and
Yeah.
I was like, I could probably do that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think you and I had the same experience. You look like I did after my
Oh,
first
I had a
one.
bad experience. Look at this guy.
We got another show on that one.
But I mean, it's something fun. I mean, and the cool thing about the North Face endurance challenges is like, it's quality, you know what I mean? Like there's some of these races that I've done in the past, like especially when I first started, where like I got to the point in the race, and it happens a lot in trail racing, where you know someone takes a marker down and you don't know where to go, and you know you end up running down a mountain and having to come back up, and
Right.
Like that just
Doesn't happen at North Face, yeah.
It has never happened to me
Right,
at the
right.
North Face races, which is nice. You know, it's nice to know that you're not going to be doing an orienteering race. Like
Right.
that's a different type of event. You know what I mean? Like they're blazed. They're really well done. The guy Nick Moore, the race director, he's been doing it since the beginning. He's got it all dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know at the aid stations they're going to have stuff. They're not
Right.
going to run out. So you get that level of comfort, especially on your first one, where you're not going to be out wandering the woods, wondering if you're going to
Right.
have water or food or something like that. Where like some of the races, like I've had a lot of good experiences, but I've also had some experiences that, you know, you haven't had water in an hour and you're out on the
Right.
trail, and you start to get a little bit panicked. You know, you don't know where to go and stuff. So the nice thing is, you know, that you're going to be able to find your way. And yeah, the cool thing, and it's a pretty big race, so there's going to be people going in both directions.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think that a lot of people don't know is just trying to be courteous to everyone else. Like there's this etiquette that a lot of people don't even know. I
Right.
mean, so like, you know, if someone's coming and they're faster, you kind of step aside and let them go past, and then, you know, if it's an out and back and a faster runner's coming, you step off the trail. So, and you know, keeping your headphones just so you can hear people saying like, come in on your left, or a lot of people just say like trail or something
Right.
like that. So you have a lot of stuff to pay attention to. It's kind of hard just to zone out.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in like a marathon or something like that, you can
Yeah.
kind of just get in the groove and stuff like. And
Well, yeah, and it is. You know, it's something for everybody there. You got a full marathon there. You got a 50K. You got a 50 miler, and you got a marathon relay. So there's probably a lot of people.
well, and then the next day it's cool too. They have a half marathon, 10K, 5K, and they do this really sweet thing. Like they do a kids run, which is like a kilometer or so. And it's for Carno's Kids, which is Dean Karnassus's
okay.
like program to help get kids out and active. And my buddy JT usually works the booth at it. And I'm actually asking people if you are interested, we need volunteers for the Carno Kids. So
Cool.
anyone wants to come out and let me know and shoot me an email, and you guys can put my email.
Okay, do you have the
up.
contact information for that Carno Kids? We can get a graphic up for it for sure. But,
Yeah, exactly. That would
Okay.
be fantastic. But yeah, so there's a cool thing. So a lot of times, like, I have the reputation where I'll run the 50 miler on Saturday, and I have so much fun. I come back out and I run the half marathon the next day. So last year I was like third in the 50 miler, and then I won the half marathon the next day.
And then they actually offer big bucks for the winner of the 50 miler, don't they?
Yeah, I think there's a prize purse. For the 50 miler, I think it's $1,000.
It's $1,000.
1,600, 400 maybe.
Wow.
And then the cool thing is that it qualifies you to run in the championship race at the end of the year too, which is in San Francisco, which is probably one of the most magnificent trail runs in the world that I've seen.
Okay,
so far.
and let's just go ahead and move over to that for just a second. Here,
Yeah.
we can come back to the local race here. But you know, the awesome thing about this is that they do have a whole. You can make I actually came up with a really good idea here. You can actually make a good little tour of these races like you do sort of the competitor guys who we've had in here before. You can
Yeah.
start off in May in Bear Mountain, New York, which is a trail run that they do at that event. Have you been up to that one?
I haven't been to that one yet, but that's on my radar. And that one's a little bit different than this one's, a little less technical. That one is super technical, and it's supposed to be really fun. And the guy that won our race here, Jordan McDougall, that runs for North Face also and runs a lot of our local races, won that this year.
Okay, and then I guess they respect the heat in the summertime. They don't really do a lot of races in the summertime. You got June, July. Most of all of August off, and then most of September. And then on September 15th and 16th, you go into Madison, Wisconsin. Now, have you done that one?
No, but that one's awesome,
Okay.
from what I understand. Actually, all of them are really cool.
Yeah.
So I was thinking for the fall thing, and then maybe I get Chris on board to do this or something.
let's
It
do
might
it.
be fun to hit up some of these fall races, and at the same time, you can catch an NFL football game. So for that weekend, you can go see the Chicago Bears play the Green Bay Packers.
great
And, huge divisional rivalry on Thursday, September 13th. Okay.
Right.
And then next month you can go to Atlanta, which of course for the Falcons play, but we're talking about the North Face Endurance Challenge here.
Yes.
October 13th and 14th in Atlanta, Georgia. They have trail running. Atlanta's a pretty good running community too. I mean, that's where Galloway is from, and I think opened the first running store.
Well, yeah, and it's actually a fantastic community, and they do it a little bit south, I think, of Atlanta, maybe, and it's supposedly amazing run. But again, I haven't done that one. I did the Kansas City one, which I love.
go.
Yeah,
October
and that's one of the
27th,
and that's
August.
one they actually do. Most of them are trail, but this is a 50K on the roads, which is cool. So it's the most trail-like road race I've ever done. Like you're running up and down, like huge climbs, which you wouldn't think is possible in Kansas City.
I thought it was flat.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought too.
Is it tornadoes? I mean, how do they get?
Yeah, exactly. You would think that it's just dead flat, but no. And so like you're running up along these ridges, in and out of the city. It's a really cool event. So it was something that I was really psyched to be a part of and had a great time there.
Yeah, that's cool. I see that one. That's actually the next one on the list. But if you did want to go to that October 13th, 14th one in Atlanta, the Raiders are in town to play the Falcons that weekend. November 17th, like you said, is the Kansas City, Missouri event, which sounds like just an awesome race.
Yeah, it's super fun, yeah.
And the Bengals play at KC that day if you're interested in going and catching a football game that weekend.
And I wanted to try. Last year they had a game too, like a preseason game, and I wanted to go out to Arrowhead because I thought that would be awesome.
It's supposed to be the best tailgating in the NFL.
So, really?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I hear. December 1st and 2nd is in San Francisco, another trail run. I would imagine that's probably pretty hilly too.
That one is incredibly hilly and just unbelievably beautiful. You're starting out and you climb up, and as you get to the ridge and the sun starts to come out, you get a view of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco looking back across the Marin Headlands. It's ideal. Like if anyone wants to see one of the most beautiful places to run, I would recommend doing that race. And it's epic too because that one actually has a huge prize purse. It draws like the best field in the U.S. really.
Championship, right?
It's a championship race. It's got $10,000 for first place,
Wow.
which is just a huge amount of
purse, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge purse for a trail race, and then it goes, I think,
For the 50-mile race?
Yeah, for the 50-mile race.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it draws a lot. The cool thing that I like about it is it draws all the best guys, just because of the purse, and just it's become like the event.
Who are some, aside from yourself, who are some of the top guys in the sport? Just out of curiosity, I mean.
Right now,
I guess at that 50-mile distance, especially.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that run for North Face, like Hal Kroner, Mike Wolf. Jeff Rose, he runs for Montrail. He's always competitive. Dakota Jones, he just won a big race, sky running race over in the Canary Islands. And
is there female prizes too?
Yeah, there's
female
fantastic female prizes. Yeah, and there's a bunch of good girls that run for North Face. We got Cami Semick, Nikki Kimball, Helen. We got Tracy. So it's just amazing. Like the depth of the North Face team is incredible. But then you also have girls like Ellie Greenwood who runs for Montrail, Anna Frost who runs for Solomon, and the race draws a bunch of the European guys too. So it's pretty cool just to be a part of that and just to see the growth of the sport. It's just really exploding right now, and just to see how many guys and girls are getting into it.
So many more people are getting interested. I mean, I got the bug. I'm ready to make the move and try it out too. I mean, I think it's fascinating. You do the marathon things. I can't say you can't do enough of them, but you're ready for the next challenge. And certainly North Face offers the entire spectrum. You can do the 50Ks, or the 50-milers if you're ready to make that jump.
Yeah.
And for that weekend, just by the way, it's the San Francisco 49ers are not in town that weekend. They're playing at St. Louis, but the Oakland Raiders do host the Cleveland Browns that weekend if you want to go see that game for any reason.
And it's not that far from the site.
The Bay
You can
Area is
actually
close,
fly
yeah.
into Oakland or into San Fran. So
I think I'd rather go to wine country.
yeah. No, well, and it's close to there too. It's actually once you're across the bridge, it's all really close.
That's awesome. And that sounds like a great event. We got to wrap things up here.
Yeah, I did want to touch on your. Obviously, you couldn't do it without your family and Jennifer and your the rest of your family. But your sponsors too are great. North Face, great sponsor for you. Who are the other guys that?
A Marathon Guide is obviously like one of my huge sponsors. Kind of got me started. Power Bar, running with some Sunto Petzl headlamps.
Yeah.
Sweet Green, which is a local store here, which is kind of cool to stay local, and it's
good, healthy, and vegetarian. Right?
Yeah, good, healthy, vegetarian food. So I'm going to do some runs for them, and then of course Pacers has always been a big supporter of me and my running, and you know, there's Gold's Gym. Running for Succeed also, which make the salt tablets that allow me to do some pretty incredible things.
There's also some great charity benefactors of these North Face races as well. Like you mentioned before, the Carno Kids, Leave No Trace, and also the Challenge Athletes Foundation. I think that's great too. That you got to have that charity element to any of these races. To wrap things up here, the last thing, these events are going to be held on Saturday, June 2nd, and Sunday, June 3rd. I'm pretty sure you can still get into these events, most of which are sold out right now through Carno Kids, Leave No Trace, or Challenged Athletes Foundation, which all sound like excellent charities that North Face is involved with there.
Yeah, I think so, and I think there's still maybe some slots in the 50-mile event, but definitely if you're interested, put your name on a waiting list just in case someone comes with an injury or something, and I think that they do have a waiting list for all the events.
Okay, that's great. That's something you don't typically see in the road races here in the D.C. area. The waiting list or something a little bit more unique to the ultra community. Well, I think that's about it. That's about all we have time for, folks. I mean, these races look awesome. Again, they're on Saturday, June 2nd, Sunday, June 3rd. That's coming up here pretty soon here in the D.C. area. Go out and check out the North Face Endurance Challenge. They sound great.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I hope everyone comes out and gets a chance to take a part in it, be on the trails, and just enjoy the day.
It's a great way to spend the day. Chris, good to see you again. Mike, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you very much.
We'll see you around, buddy. Stay healthy, and we'll see you guys next time on Gotta Get Running. Bye-bye, everybody.